my name is Kathy Lynch, Republican State Committee woman, and I am the host of the Second Opinion Show, which is sponsored by the Westford Republican Town Committee. Today I have guest Nick Pirro with us. He is running for State Senate. So welcome, Nick.
Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. First of all, if you can tell people what your district is, what towns and cities are in your district?
So the cities and towns consist of Clinton, Lancaster, Leominster, Fitchburg, Ashby, Townsend, Lunenburg, Shirley, Groton, and Westford.
And do you say Leominster?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, we got them all. There's 10.
Yes.
And that's a big number, a big area.
It is, yeah.
So tell us about yourself, just to start us off.
I'm a small business owner from Leominster originally. I live in Lunenburg now with my wife and 2 kids. I have 4 businesses with 30 full-time employees out of Leominster. And I've surrounded myself with an amazing group of coworkers that have given me the ability to take time to go out on this venture here.
You're a businessman.
Yes.
First and foremost, right? I mean,
Yep.
It sounds like. So tell me a little bit more about your businesses so people have an idea.
So they're all over the place.
Okay.
I have a towing and recovery company, which we cover 60 miles of highway, and we do police towing for 4 towns. Then we also do auction transport and salvage work. We have a burial vault and casket company. We wholesale burial vaults and caskets to funeral homes. We have a commercial and industrial plowing and sanding company. And then I have a masonry supply company, so we sell products for building chimneys and fireplaces, as well as sewer brick and barrel block for road construction.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like a jack of all trades.
Yeah, well, they blend good with each other. 2 are usually busy during the summer, and 2 are usually busy during the winter, so it's a nice mix.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what inspired you to run?
So in December, I started to have this feeling like I needed to be involved. And when I woke up one day in January, I had this overwhelming feeling that I had to be here and I had to get involved. Mm-hmm. That somebody had to stand up for what everybody in the district believes. It seems nowadays that a lot of the information is being pushed from the top down, from Boston down into the district, with the information going the wrong direction, where it should be, my belief is it should be coming from the constituents and flowing upwards into Boston, and the senator should be relaying that information to the other people in the State House, not the reverse way, from the top down.
I like that. That sounds really good. So you're Republican. How long have you been a Republican?
Since I registered to vote at 18 years old.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
What do you think that the Republicans have to offer versus the Democrats?
Well, I think from my understanding and what I see is a lot of the Republicans are more small business owners. A lot more with numbers. I mean, I know that more might be a generalization, sure. But that's my take on it right there. I think that I'm more about some individual freedoms and smaller government, where I believe that the Democrats believe in a bigger government and less controlled choices. I hate to be defined by just a party, right, because we're all individuals. And I think when people rush to judgment over, to judge us who, just based on party affiliation alone, I think that they miss a lot of good candidates out there because they have such a disdain for one individual or another, depending on how the political environment has been on the presidential scene the last, few election cycles.
Good point. And there are a lot of unenrolled.
Yes.
Mostly unenrolled.
Yeah.
So you don't know which party they're for, and you have to appeal to them.
Correct.
And the Democrats will probably vote Democrat because that's so important to them. The Republicans will probably vote Republican because that's so important to them. But then you have the large unenrolled. So are you getting out and talking to a lot of the unenrolled voters?
We've talked to, we've been to 16,000 houses already to distribute literature and interview, do some quick little interviews when we were talking with people there. And we're finding a lot of people are just unhappy with the way things are going in general. And they want to change. They think it's gone too far. They're ready for some more conservative values. I think that they were open to trying some new ideas, and they're not happy with the way the things are going right now. So it seems like we've had a very good reception. People like the idea that I'm involved in business and have a business brain. You know, I can't just generate more money when I have a budget. You know, I have to stay within my budget. Unlike a lot of the people in the State House never had their own businesses, so they would just want to raise taxes if they, you know, they don't cut spending. They just want to raise taxes. And unfortunately, in business, you learn you have to make those difficult decisions and make cuts when you can't afford things.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me of in Westford, we had the override, and that's happening across the state in many towns.
Yeah.
And the message that the voters gave the leadership was that they want our leaders to live within their means and cut where is needed, so that the government just doesn't get too big and the taxes don't push people out of town. Are you hearing that across different towns in the district?
So yes, most of the towns in the district did have 2.5 overrides. And I heard the number was approximately 85 in the state, where the average is around a dozen. So it seems as though, you know, a large percentage of the state is having the problems with their local aid and their budgets. I think largely, in fact, to the mismanagement of money on the state level, where that money, if it was flowing back into the districts, we wouldn't be having these 2.5 overrides putting neighbor against neighbor. You know, people that have children in the school system, they play on your heartstrings there, and they don't want, you know, nobody wants to take money away from education. You know, but there's people on fixed incomes that can't afford to keep raising taxes. So my belief is that we need to tighten the belt and make the cuts on the state level with some of the unchecked spending, and make sure that money is coming back here into the district to the schools and the police departments, fire departments. These are all the things that are essential for having a good community, and the money needs to go there first and foremost. And then if there's extra, we can help other people, but we need to make sure that we're taking care of our own residents first.
So give me an example of something that you think the state is spending money on that we really don't need to be spending money on.
Well, it's we have that $1.8 billion that we've spent on the immigration crisis with no end in sight, no real solution to it. No receipts for the money of where it's been spent. Everything's done without our knowledge, and we deserve to know where that money was being spent. Because if that money was spent back here in the districts, we wouldn't all be in that situation that we're at with these overrides in all the towns.
That is a big issue for a lot of people, right? The immigration, people coming in from different countries, and whereas some of the people around here that are citizens that have lived here are feeling the short end of the stick. They're not getting what they want, right?
Well, I mean, it's not just that. I mean, it's these local hospitals that have been closing. You can't add the amount of people to the Medicaid system coming into these hospitals and expect these hospitals to be able to sustain. It's just not financially possible. And these are important to have these in the local area. I mean, we need these hospitals. Obviously, Neshoba Valley was a big impact for a lot of people, as it should be. And you know, when you're, especially at the point now where we're bringing more people in, but we're losing hospitals, we're bringing more people into school, but we're cutting aid. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So a lot of candidates have 3 issues that they want to focus in on. What would be your 3?
Well, the top one would be the fiscal responsibility, getting involved and having those tough conversations, making those tough decisions that we can't always afford to do everything that we want. I think anybody that's run their own household knows that there's things that you want to do and there's the things that you can do. So you got to pick and choose what you can do. I believe that there's a lot of transparency issues on the State House level, and I think that we need to be more open so that the constituents of Massachusetts know where their money is being spent. And I think that sometimes when you have an open communication like that, then people are more accountable for where that money is being spent. And then obviously it would be to make sure that we keep everything safe, and maybe we bring down some regulations so we can have more housing and build up these communities. I believe in community policing and having these first interactions with law enforcement be good, building relationships. And unfortunately, programs like that and after-school programs that get kids out interacting with other people are the first thing that's cut when there's budget shortfalls, and because they don't see the immediate effect, right? Good things take time. So you have to build these relationships over years to see the effects of them. So when people aren't seeing instantaneous effects, that's where they make the cuts. And that's unfortunate, because I think that we were really starting to make some good progress there, building these relationships up and trying to get the police back to where they were respected, where the teachers were respected. Teachers want to be able to teach. And when they spend a lot of time in there with no support for a lot of the English as second language students, the behavioral issues, it takes up a lot of their time, and they're not allowed to teach the students that are there to learn. So I think more support for the teachers, more support for law enforcement, all around, all public service.
Yeah, very good. Tell me a little bit more about the transparency. You said that was like the second issue. What do you think can be changed and improved there?
Well, I tell you, it's very difficult. They do post all the roll calls when it comes out, but nothing is very easy to find. You can't just type in your representatives or senators' names and find out every vote they ever took. They're exempt from the open meeting laws and the open record laws. So they don't have to provide all that information, and I don't think that that's fair. When you're representing somebody else, or when you're spending somebody else's money, you should be held accountable for that, and you should be open. There should be no reason that would be done without full transparency. It's no different than if you gave your kid your credit card to go to the gas station and they came back and said they spent $500 but it was all on gas, but there's no receipt to prove it. I mean, that's a real simple way to put it, but I think people really understand it when you say it like that. I mean, they're essentially have our money, and they're not giving us the receipt for where that money is being spent.
I think people should be able to agree with that.
Yeah.
So you have children, right?
Yes, two.
Two boys, is that right?
No, I have an 18-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay. So one of them is still in school?
Yep, my son graduated from, so both my kids came up through Lunenburg Public Schools. My son took 1 year at Lunenburg High School, and then he transferred to Monty Tech in Fitchburg, and he graduated from there last June. And my daughter goes to Cushing Academy in Ashburnham.
Okay. When you're out on the road and you're knocking doors and you're meeting people, very impressive number. It sounds like you said like 16,000 doors.
Yeah.
What are people telling you? Are they telling you anything? Are they mostly just waking up to the election coming up, or are they giving you feedback right away, or do they just say thank you and look at your literature? What is the general thing that you're running into?
I think people are happy that we're out introducing ourselves. A lot of them, as much as people that are involved in politics, the election and everything is so important to us, and we know how many days away everything is. I think and we got a very early start. We started in May, and so when we were first knocking on doors in Westford, people weren't even thinking about the election yet because we were so far out. So it's changed over the last 6 months as to what people were thinking of. People are definitely thinking about it now, being just a little over 40 days away at this point. So I feel that a lot of people are happy to get the information. We're always going to have that percentage of people that have their mind made up one way or the other, no matter who you are, what you have to say. They have no interest. We have people that are automatically going to vote for me, doesn't matter what I say, and there's people that would never vote for me, no matter what I say, just based on party affiliation. But as you said, probably 80% of the population in this district is in an unenrolled status right now, meaning that they can go for either party. And I think that we're seeing a lot of those people are definitely feeling the pinch of the cost of groceries, the cost of gasoline, the cost of living. So they're definitely been open to seeing another way. And pretty happy to have somebody involved that's had to balance budgets, somebody that's willing to listen to them, that's actually coming out and being able to be seen and seeing them. You know, our current senator is not, hasn't been the most active in the community.
Is there a sign war out there yet?
Well, people told me that Republican signs go missing in this state.
So you're saying that there are people who are thieves out there?
You know, maybe it's just the wind. I hate to, we'll give people the benefit of the doubt, but we've got quite a few. We've put out 1,400 signs across the district, and then we have a lot of larger signs that are put out. We've had a few go missing, but nothing worth talking about by any means. Not a big deal on those.
And how about your opponent? Are there a lot of signs out for him?
Well, I will tell you, I definitely don't see nearly as many of his signs out as ours.
Yeah.
I know that we've been, like I said, we've been out knocking on doors and really interacting.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say maybe 5 to 1, if we're looking to put a number on it. But
and it is tough. He's been in there for how many years?
He'll be coming up on he's wrapping up his 4th year, his second term.
Okay, so he has the incumbent advantage. So you have a lot of work that you need to do to overcome that if you're going to win. Is there anything that you just really want to share with the viewers, just like you want them to know this about you?
That we'd love to get people involved. This campaign is not just about my ideas, it's about me being the voice for the people of the district. That I'd love to talk to as many people as possible. I'd love to have the involvement of the community with us. You can go to our website at pirroforsenate.com. There's also links to our Facebook and Instagram accounts on there. Whether or not you want to get along or just get on and get involved somehow or just follow along, I'd love to have your involvement in it. It's been really nice to meet so many people throughout the district over the course of this campaign so far, and that's been one of the most enjoyable parts of it.
Yeah, I mean, now's the time for the viewers and the voters to come out, ask any questions, see where you stand on the issues, get to know you better, see if they'd like your voice out there. I do like that you like to bring it from the people up versus the top down. That's a different perspective. And a lot of people are feeling like they're not being heard. They may call their representative and no one gets back to them. They may get the assistant but not the representative. It's good to have that personal touch, and it looks like you're out there trying to do that, which is good.
Yeah, there's 24 hours in a day, and I don't sleep a lot of them. So we're out there, we're interacting. Like I said, we're trying to see as many people as possible. I mean, it's a big geographic area, and there's no way that I would be able to know what is best for each individual city and town. So any way that a senator or representative could sit there and tell you that they know better for what Westford needs than the residents of Westford would be wrong, in my opinion. There's no one that's going to know what Westford needs more than the people of Westford. My job would be to work with whatever elected officials the constituents of Westford elect, and to support them and fight for whatever resources they need to do their job the best. Because if they succeed, then that's a success for me.
And have you met them, a lot of them, yet?
Some of them are not very open to meeting somebody who's coming up against an incumbent. I've noticed that there's been a little bit of a challenge there. But of the ones that I have met, they've been really nice and polite and kind. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming most of them don't really want to get involved, because no matter what, they're going to have to work with one of us after. So it hasn't been overly polarizing from either side. And the elected officials. So
it's a daunting task, though, to meet all those people in 10 different municipalities.
Well, meeting them is one thing. Remembering everybody's name has been a whole nother thing.
Oh man,
so.
You're right.
Yeah.
So good. So you've given us how people can reach you, and I think we've covered a lot of ground. Are there any last thoughts for you?
No. I mean, like I said, this isn't about me. It's about the people out in the district, so I really like to hear from them what's important to them, because like I said, this job should be a voice for the district. It's not my voice telling them what's best.
Right.
I have things that I've done that work, which has given me knowledge to share with my coworkers in Boston next year, hopefully. But the ideas that I'm going to bring forward are not going to be just my own. They're going to be the ones that I'm getting from the people I speak with in the district, and however those get funneled up, but the information should be coming from the bottom up. Not that there is any more relevance depending on where you are, just it's a different job. So I would imagine that a lot of the people, the residents, would talk to their elected officials, and that information would flow up to more of a centralized area, and I could relay that information into the State House.
And how would you relay that information to people so that you have that connection going, up and down? So if you have news to share, how will you do that?
Social media has been a big help. The reach there, we've added followers to the page all the time, but there's always, you can use the social media, there's websites, public access TVs have been huge, so we'll use all the channels that are available to us at the time.
Great. So Nick, I think you gave a good introduction to yourself here, and this is another way, as you said, that the voters can get to know you. So thank you for coming and sharing this information with us. My name is Kathy Lynch, Republican State Committee woman. I am the host for the Second Opinion Show, and you've been listening to us today, Nick Pirro, who's running for State Senate. Do check him out. He gave his website earlier, and phone number too, right?
That's on there, but the phone number is 978-878-1568. That can receive phone calls or text, and if someone doesn't answer, you can leave a message and we will definitely get back to you, for sure.
And I want the audience to know that if you feel like you're not getting all the information you need, or you need more information on the candidates who are running, always get a second opinion.